deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Thank you for joining us. We're now an hour and 8 minutes into the syndicated radio transmission on this Tuesday, the 16th day of February 2010. For the rest of the hour, Michael Badnarik is our guest. He, of course, was a Libertarian candidate for the Libertarians. He has given thousands of lectures around the country. He's an author, documentary filmmaker, former GCN radio host. And a few months ago, he had a really serious heart attack while at a rally in Wisconsin trying to stop the banning of raw milk being sold. I mean, they're not just trying to keep marijuana illegal, folks. They're trying to ban vitamins right now. Canada is openly moving to do it. So they're attacking all of our freedoms, and he had a serious heart attack. I heard he had a rough go of it, but it was great to hear yesterday that he's doing a lot better now, and so we're very honored to have him with us. I want to talk about what happened with Michael, but then also want to get into a whole host of other issues and how much ground the liberty movement, the awakening to tyranny, has gained. ClimateGate, government health care in deep trouble, the police state being exposed, the TSA naked body scanners in deep trouble, open talk of them being removed, so many other positive things happening. Polls between 75 and 91% of people want to abolish or audit the Fed. 10 years ago, almost no one knew it was a private criminal group. We're now identifying the real power structure, and it's thanks to people like Michael Badnarik. Michael, joining us via video Skype back in the great state of Texas. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Don't close the casket yet. I'm still alive.
Well, you look great watching you here on PrisonPlanet.tv. Michael, talk about your ordeal and everybody's prayers and the donations and everything else.
Well, I was invited to Wisconsin to speak at a rally in favor of raw milk. I've been drinking raw milk for about a year and a half. It is so much better than the stuff you can buy in the store. It's also much healthier for you. And as you said in the intro, I mean, it's not just marijuana or just heroin or cocaine that the government is trying to make illegal. They're trying to make milk illegal, something that humans have been drinking for literally centuries. And so I went and spoke. Now, most of it I don't remember. The hospital gave me a combination of drugs that they lovingly refer to as milk of amnesia. So most of the bad part I do not remember. The doctors and nurses were really surprised, however. I wasn't supposed to be able to lift a finger. And on several occasions I was sitting up in bed looking for my pants. I guess I was hoping to leave. And the doctors and nurses wanted to know what I was made out of. My friends, the people who know me well, were not surprised. They know how dedicated I am, especially when it comes to liberty. The good news is that I went to Gunderson Lutheran Hospital in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I think it's the best hospital in the United States. They took fantastic care of me and literally brought me back from the brink of death. I want to thank them. And I'm back to 100%. My voice is good, my energy is good, and as long as I'm alive and able to breathe, you know that I'm going to be lighting the fires of liberty. And I want to thank you in particular for, letting your listeners know what was going on. My mother was touched that you would do a little presentation to tell everybody about my status. So I want to thank you. I want to thank your listeners. I am back to normal as far as I can tell. And the one good thing, for years I've been telling people that if I die, liberty is no longer my problem. And the lesson I hoped I was teaching was that everybody has to get involved on a personal basis. This is your Constitution. This is your Bill of Rights. And now that I've had this heart attack, people are understanding that, and they are jumping on board. So I think that we're going to see an even greater increase in the number of people who are helping us in the Patriot movement.
Well, I don't want to dwell on it, but we are blessed to have you here with us because talking to your family and others, They say it was a really bad heart attack. Specifically, if you don't mind telling us, people are wondering, what type of heart attack did you have, Michael?
I had a 100% blockage. I had a heart attack about 11 years ago on the back side of my heart, which affected the atriums, the top of the heart. Well, that's not as serious. This one was in front of the heart. It directly affected the ventricles, the part that actually pushed the blood through your body. And, well, in the ambulance and at the hospital, I was technically dead for about 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I was on life support in a chemically induced coma for 16 days. So I genuinely appreciate everybody's prayers and concern, because it was a very serious thing, and I'm just so grateful to still be here so that I can work with you and all the other patriots here in Texas and across the country, because we are going to restore this constitutional republic. There's no doubt about that. The only question is, just how interesting and messy it's going to be between now and then.
Well, no doubt the prayers certainly help, because I know a lot of people were praying for you, Michael.
Well, my mother was thanking me personally. She said, if nothing else, I brought a lot of the people back to religion and faith because, well, I know at least two of my friends had started praying for me, said that they hadn't prayed in over a decade. And it was my condition that caused them to get back into prayer. So I want to genuinely thank everybody who was concerned about me. I know for a fact that helped, and I think that my stubborn attitude had a little bit to do with it too.
Absolutely, but not among the living for 10 minutes. But definitely you're the same Michael Badnarik we knew, so it didn't hurt your brain too bad. A true blessing and a miracle that you're here with us today. I want to talk about a host of issues with you, and then have you back soon with us as well to cover more of the Constitution itself, that you really are an amazing promoter and teacher of. But looking at Texas, obviously the second most populous state, the second largest state geographically, all over the country, 30-plus states moving to declare 10th and 9th Amendment powers, nullifying the federal government that's been seized by offshore banks. We're in the midst of the globalist takeover. They're not denying world government anymore. Deborah Medina was gaining 5 points a week. We'll soon get polls later in the week to see if this staged Glenn Beck event. We've now talked to Medina's people. She's coming on later Sunday or Monday, one of those days. It's clear that Beck was cutting her audio off so she couldn't understand even what she was saying. She's never really talked about 9/11 truth. She said people have a right to their own opinions, just like 6 of the 10 commission members have said it's a cover-up. And Farmer, the head lawyer, on it's written a book saying it was a criminal conspiracy and cover-up. But Glenn Beck, the reason I talk a lot about him more and more is they've positioned him as the leader of the Patriot movement when he calls for a value-added tax, a sales tax to pay the bankers. He calls for the reauthorization of the Patriot Act. He called for the banker bailout takeover bill. He attacks Ron Paul constantly, but then two-facedly has him on and supports him, but kind of giggles at him with disdain. He's now savaged Deborah Medina, and the media is saying she's going to lose because of this. I think they're just telling people she's a loser, so they won't vote for her. I think she clearly will get into the runoff, and her numbers are still growing. A lot of this backfired. The donations have more than doubled since this happened. But specifically, how important this Deborah Medina race is, because you have a real patriot running, not just some rhino Republican in name only, like we saw in Massachusetts taking the Kennedy seat. This was a bellwether event, and we see him always at key moments showing he's a Benedict Arnold.
Well, I've been saying that Glenn Beck was controlled opposition for a long time. I mean, for a long time he was saying the right things, but I said, be careful, because he's going to turn around. And as many people have finally recognized, the interview with Deborah Medina showed his true colors. The good news, and I'm always looking for the silver lining, this is, if they're attacking and savaging Deborah Medina, you know that we are doing the right thing. Deborah has so much support here in Texas. She is gaining in the popularity polls. People all over Texas. I have dozens of friends who are actively working on her campaign, and we have an opportunity. We have a real opportunity here in Texas to show people the path to liberty by electing someone other than the Democrats or Republicans. And as you were talking earlier, this drive for liberty and freedom is increasing, and it's going to happen. I'm hoping that it happens in this election. I really hope that we elect Deborah as our governor, because Oklahoma is trying to elect a liberty-minded candidate, and that will be the first dominoes that will fall as we restore this republic. It's very, very important.
Well, let me expand on that.